Hi, I'm Andrew from Creative Guitar Studio. It is Friday, January 22nd, 2010, and we're just going to go through some of the questions that have come into the studio recently. I had a real flood of questions over the last little while, so I'm just going to try and get through a few today. First of all, we have a question came in from Jordan Gillies, and he wrote in saying, I've been playing guitar for about a year and 3 months, and just don't know everything that should be a part of my practice routine. I practice pentatonic scales and the major scale. I mostly have a decent understanding of modes and 1 or 2 patterns of harmonic minor scale. I also practice notation, but I have a problem focusing long enough to get good at it. I learn new songs from time to time, and I'm interested in just about every style of music. I want to know what my practice schedule should consist of to be a complete guitarist. Well, it's a fairly huge question because really the first thing that kind of comes to me in reading it is if it seems to me like you don't have a teacher. I think really what you probably need is a guitar teacher, they would be able to guide you, specifically on what you need to tackle. It sounds like you're getting into your scales and your, sort of neck layout and stuff, but to apply that stuff properly, you need somebody to guide you along and kind of show you that, here's, some concepts that you can use to get even better than you are right now, and they can kind of adjust the learning curve along the way. The other thing that I'm noticing here that you're interested in practicing notation, I'd probably suggest, one of the tab programs to get you started, like maybe PowerTab if you're on a Windows computer, or if you are on a Mac or something, you could get that free one. It's called Tux Guitar. So, start working with those, but maybe down the road you may want to look into another piece of software called Finale. I mean, I often think, geez, I wish I would have had these things when I was, getting into guitar, because they're so helpful with understanding notation. They're kind of fun to use too. If you're interested in learning how to use new pieces of software, like, I'm along that road, of a person. I really like to get involved with learning new pieces of software and seeing how, what I can do with them. So for me, it's kind of, a lot of fun. But that would be my suggestion in getting a little bit more into notation so that you can feel like you're having more interest in it and it's kind of more exciting to go along. Now, as far as building a practice schedule, a tip I can give you on that one is maybe go check out a video that I put up last week on talking about accelerated learning. That's kind of like the main thrust of the topic. But there's also a section there where you can, follow a link in the sidebar and go to my website, and there's also a practice schedule sheet that you can download, and you can probably get a lot of good, tips from there as well. One of the main things too that I should mention is always be really psychologically easy on yourself. Just never get too worried about things. I mean, it's just you are at a level that you're at any given point in time, and there's always going to be a ceiling above you that you can't seem to reach in your playing, and that's kind of the motivator for more practice. But overall, Jordan, I would probably say, it sounds like you really need a teacher, so try and look into that. The next question that we have comes to us from Aiton from Houston, Texas. He's writing in here saying, I've noticed a pattern in my guitar learning. I will progress in waves, but when I am at a low, then things are slow and it makes it difficult to stay motivated. Any suggestions? I've been playing for around 5 years, so I'm not a beginner, but my guitars are all still beginner guitars. Would a better guitar help my learning curve? Right off the bat, yes, I would definitely say that. Poor quality guitars are not great to practice on, and bumping up to a new guitar that's of a better quality is not only probably going to be a little bit easier to play, but it's just the motivation of getting a new guitar. I think you ask any player of any skill level, what it's like when they buy a new instrument. They're really drawn to it. A lot of times they can't put it down for days or even weeks. I have one a student of mine that just purchased a brand new Jackson. He had it purchased in the States from Sweetwater, and this is just a beautiful guitar, and he just loves it. He's just playing all the time, and I can even see in the last couple of weeks that he's had it, his skill levels certainly improved. So new guitarists can be a definite motivator. Getting to your first part of your question though about going in waves. I just want to first of all say, you are completely normal. Everybody goes through these peaks and valleys, and it's sort of an idea of like, you feel at one point in your practicing that you've got the world by the tail and your practicing and playing is going so well, and then there's always a drop in that at some point too, when you're getting usually into new information, or you're trying to get into something from the very beginning that you haven't really had a lot of experience before, and there's a total drop in it, and you just feel like you're pulling a train uphill. So, congratulations, you're perfectly normal. And the way to kind of, keep in check in that kind of a situation is to just realize again that you have to be kind of psychologically easy on yourself, and to just stay a little more motivated by maybe drifting into something that's fun. Start learning maybe a new song that isn't all that difficult. But you do have to balance your practice time between things that are challenging and things that are fairly easy to deal with, and you can basically pick up on them, in a more rapid rate. So you have to have sort of that balance, and that's again why I'm continuously talking today, I guess, a lot about having a guitar teacher. But that's again why it's so good to have a personal teacher. I got time for one more question. I want to go to this one. It's from Shannon. She writes in here, I have been playing bass for around 4 years now. I feel that I've reached a plateau. I need help with improvising, playing bass runs and fills, how to incorporate a scale into a song on bass, etc. Overall, I'd like to spice it up a little bit so that I'm not playing only the root notes. Geez, I'm reading this, and again, I'm just, stopping in my tracks. It sounds, again, like, we have somebody that really doesn't have a teacher. It sounds like you really need to, get yourself involved with a teacher. Because these are all very straightforward bass principles. Now, first of all, let me kind of address some of them here for you. Says that you really reached a plateau on your own. That's a sign to me that you need somebody to kind of guide you along and say, well, here's where you're at now. What you should do next is this, and this. So that is the main, sort of thing that caught me on this, where I think you need a teacher. Now, on to some of your other points here. It says you want to get help with improvising and playing bass runs and fills, and also how to incorporate scales into a song. Well, first of all, for improv and actually playing over chord changes and not doing, like you're saying, you're diving for roots all the time, to get away from that, you've got to get used to understanding your arpeggio layouts on the bass fingerboard. So you do need work on understanding how the arpeggios, you start with your major and minor triads, move on to dominant seventh shapes, start understanding some of the altered tones, and begin getting a very good handle at the geometrical shapes for your different intervals. Know what a perfect fifth looks like, what an octave looks like, what major and minor thirds look like. Those would be the first ones to tackle. And you can see, if you have any basic knowledge of chord tones, I just went through all the basic chord tones right there, especially of your triads. But don't neglect sevenths either. Go into the sevenths to start understanding how you can color up. If somebody is playing just a simple triad chord on bass, you can certainly go through let's say a minor seven if it's a minor chord, or a major seven if it's a major chord. So you got some work to do, sounds like, on arpeggios. And also, I'm kind of looking at this email here, and I'm thinking maybe you need to really look into the world of harmony as well, and know and understand when you're in a key what chords are found in that key, and you should know how to also superimpose different kinds of chord sounds over perhaps whatever chord of a moment that's occurring. So what I mean by that is, let's say perhaps somebody's playing a G major chord. Well, on the bass, you could lead off the G if you wanted to, but you could play through perhaps like a B minor 7 arpeggio. It's a really nice sound to color up against a G major chord sound. So it sounds like, maybe by what I'm talking about right now for you, this might seem really kind of mysterious, but if you just do a bit of research on harmony and also diatonic substitution, there's a category that I think a lot of people kind of neglect in their studies. But anyway, that would be a lot of help for you, the study of harmony. So I'm going to wrap this up now, but I don't really have a very busy weekend. I actually don't have any gigs or anything booked this weekend, so I think what I'll do is perhaps tomorrow, when I wrap up some of the classes here at the studio, I'll probably pop another one of these videos up on YouTube, because I got kind of a backlog of questions. So until next time, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.